Hello and welcome to this video on simplifying expressions with negative indices and expressing them with positive indices. So I recommend you would pause the video and try out these questions first, and let's get started. So the main thing here, negative indices, the sign of the index changes if you move the term between the numerator and the denominator. That is just referring to this. Can you see how the sign of the index changed? If I put that a to the negative m on the denominator, it becomes 1 on a to the positive m. And if a to the negative m is on the denominator, if I want to make it positive, I move it up to the numerator and it becomes a to the positive m. Okay. So in my past videos, we've looked at these. And this video, we're actually going to look at putting it all together, putting all of these laws together. Okay? Simplify and express with positive indices. So when I look at this, I get a bit nervous about these negative numbers here. So I'm going to rewrite this with positive indices straight away. All right? And I look at it, okay, there's a clump here times a clump here. And let's just simplify each of those clumps first. Looking at this one, okay, I can see that 8b cubed. B cubed is already positive. I'm going to keep him there. But a to the negative 3, right? If I want to make him positive, look at that law. A to the negative 3 is 1 on a to the positive 3. So I'm going to move that a to the negative 3 down to the denominator. And it becomes that. And then let's simplify this clump over here. We've got half. I'm just going to write it like that. We've got a to the negative 1 is on the numerator. And he wants to become positive. So we take him down to the denominator. And b is already positive. Already a little power of b to the 1 there. So invisible ones, remember that. Now looking at this, I've just got two fractions. So fractions being multiplied together, you do numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So let's write them over the same fraction sign. 8b cubed. So 8 times 1 is 8, b cubed times b to the 1. And then on the denominator, I'm going to write, there's a 2 there, right? So 1 times 2, I'm going to write that. A cubed times a1. Another one. So now let's look at simplifying it. So simplify your normal numbers. The fraction sign means divide. Remember that. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Goes on the numerator, remember? Now, what else have we got? We can simplify on the numerator and the denominator first, actually. So b cubed times b to the 1. Do we know any index laws around that? So I'm just looking at simplifying on this numerator. B cubed times b to the 1. Look at that. It means you add the powers. So b to the 3 plus 1. And we've already simplified that, which is great. On the denominator, a to the 3 plus 1. Since timesing the indices, timesing index terms with the same base, add the indices. So now let's just simplify it. The last step for this question, b to the 4, a to the 4. And we can't simplify that any further since they don't have the same base. Let's keep going. Simplify and express with positive indices. So here, what's going on? Do I know any index laws that will help me through this? All right, so we've got, I can see this clump being raised to the power of 2. All right, so I know it's going to be one of these 3 bracket terms. Have a look at which one it might be. So it's this one. Can you see that? It's just some brackets raised to a power means you multiply all the powers. You put everything inside of those brackets to the power of 2. So let's write it. 5 to the power of 2. X to the 0. And if we have power to a power, remember, you're timesing those powers. And then we've got y to the negative 4 squared, which means timesing by 2, using that law 3. And then let's simplify it. 5 squared, 25. X to the 0 times 2, 0. Y to the negative 4 times 2. Well, different signs means negative, so negative 8. And are we done? We can take it one step further, right? I know that there's something crazy about this little x to the 0. The 0 power rule down here. A to the 0 equals 1. So you can just rewrite that. You don't even have to, if it's 1, then... And then I just realized it said expressed with positive indices. We've actually got a negative index stuck here. So remembering that negative index rule. A to the negative m is the same as 1 on a to the m. So if we want to make this a positive power, we move it down to the denominator. 25 stays on the numerator. Y to the positive 8 moves down, becomes positive. Okay, last question of this series. Let's have a look. Simplify and express with positive indices. Interesting. Okay, when it's a fraction like this, I like to look on the numerator and see if I can simplify it, and then the denominator and see if I can simplify it. And I can't actually do that. None of them have the same base. So let's look to simplify here. And here, and here. So first of all, okay, so this fraction sign means divide. What do we know about dividing indices with the same base? Have a look over here. Where does it say divide? It's hidden. If we divide powers, we subtract in that same order. So 5 to the 4 take 2. Can you see that? We subtract those indices. And then I look over here. How can I condense this? We've got m to the 6 divide m to the 2. Well, we take away that power on the bottom. Because if we're moving that term up, it becomes negative. That's why it's negative 2. And then we look here. Now, I could take the n like that, but I know that I'm going to end up with a negative number, and I just don't want to do that. So I'm going to leave the n to the 5 on the denominator and bring that n to the 3 down instead. So it was positive up here, it becomes negative down here. So we're taking away the powers. And let's check it out. Simplify that a bit. So 5 to the 2. 6 take 2 is 4, so m to the 4. And on the denominator, n to the 2. Okay. And these are the key takeaways from today. Okay, negative indices, the sign of the index changes if you move the term between the numerator and denominator. And convert all terms to positive indices first because it's easier to work with positive numbers. So back here, I choose to bring the n cubed down because it would work with positive indices. If you're lost, follow BIDMAS, expand the brackets first. If terms are written next to each other, they're being multiplied, and a few others. But I will welcome you to the next video soon. So I'll see you then. Bye-bye.